Hookup.
Double broadcast with the Indy Hookup and Bay Play Radio.
And here we go. You know what I mean? So I am Anthony Taylor, everybody. And I am sitting here with RBG. You gentlemen want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, please?
Well, as everybody quiet, I'll go ahead and say first. My name is Heston Cleveland. DJ, formerly DJ RBG, now co-host of the Indy Hookup. We own 16 different radio stations. We play 43 times a week. We support the indie artists all over the world.
That's what's up. I'm Naru Kuna. I'm not RBG, but I'm RBG affiliated. They're my people. I'm part of BUCU, Black Unity Comics Universal, that the organization that we all affiliated in, and I'm out here in Oakland, California.
Big up to the town.
Yes. My name is Ansarel Muhammad, and we're happy to be here, a member of BUCU, a member of RBG, and honored to be here on the show with you.
Man, yes, you're the founder. You're the founder, RBG.
Don't be all
don't play it slow. You the founder of RBG, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, it's been such a journey with the understanding of it, and right now we're working on a book, RBG as a dimensional construct, to kind of get the understanding out there that RBG is a language. You know, it's an ideology, it's a lifestyle. Like Naru said, I'm RBG affiliated. This thing been going on since the beginning of time, really. And Marcus Messiah Garvey, you know, officiated the flag under those colors in the early 1900s. But we was the first ones on the West Coast to take those initials and establish an organization, a music group, and push that ideology to the youth. So, however, it's been around since the beginning of time, really. And we could touch on that as we go.
Absolutely. So we got one more person who needs to introduce themselves here.
Ricardo Love. I'm a co-host of the Indie Hookup. I have my own show called Love Vibes. And I'm a music producer, a member of BUCU, and RBG affiliated from way back. I was running in the same hoods, the same studios and everything. I don't know why we didn't cross paths closer, but I knew Naru from way back then. But man, we all recorded in the same places. We probably passed each other coming through the lobby. You know, I've been in Oakland on and off for like 38 years, but I'm originally from Michigan, from a place called Kalamazoo.
So we're gonna get into that to these backgrounds a little bit more in a few seconds, but I want everybody to stop for one more second. Put your hands together for RBG and RBG affiliates, BUCU. You know what I'm saying? Up in the house here. We doing like a crossover show. It's a Taylor show. Man, let me just start and you guys jump out. Whoever wants to answer the question first. It's kind of like Family Feud. Whoever get their hand on the buzzer can go ahead and answer this. But let's start from the beginning, and we're gonna talk about the RBG stuff here, right? For a second, how did RBG come together? Who wants to be the first one to let the people know?
Hey, Ricardo, if you let me in, my wife fix the camera. I'm gonna just jump over to my other desk. I could get that one to you.
All right.
Yo.
We got echo, man. So he's gonna jump over to the other desk. He's gonna take the echo with him, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna deep dive on RBG history. We're gonna find out about these gentlemen, man, and see. We're gonna get some ins and outs here. You know what I mean? And BUCU, I want a little deep dive on that as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Won't even undo.
You here too. We like to know a little more about you, about Aunt Taylor. I didn't know it was a Grammy nominee. You shocked me when you told me you did TV, and I jokingly said, "Do you ever sleep?" and I can't sleep.
Yeah, it's real hard for me to sleep because I have I got a lot of jobs and hats and staying busy constantly. You know what I mean? If I'm not writing for a recording artist or writing for a television show, or then I'm doing the radio. And if I'm not doing the radio, I still got school age kids. You know what I mean? So if I'm not doing that, I'm getting yelled at by the wife. So it's always something that's happening. You know what I mean? So but I try to stay busy. That way, it keeps me from it keeps the vices away. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a no alcohol, no smoking type of dude. And busyness keeps me away from a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? That would distract me and take me down other areas of that I don't want to travel down.
Yeah.
That's what's
That's and that touches what you were speaking on, and regarding RBG. RBG, the love, the heartfelt desire to affect some type of change in the course of direction that we recognize at that young age that our people were continuously falling into. So many of our people falling victim to, like you said, having this great talent, having this inborn gift, but not having any direction, not having any focus. And then that idle mind become a playground for the devil, and we get involved in unproductive things. And so we recognized that at a young age, raised up right there in that neighborhood on 72nd and Lacey Street, right off of MacArthur. And we watched generation after generation falling into that same trap. We were there, as y'all know, at this particular age that we're at, and we're 59. So when you look back at the time that we were just graduating from Castlemont High School in 1984, this when the crack epidemic and all that stuff just hit. Before that, we had heroin in the 60s. We had weed, we had mescaline, we had cocaine. It was powder cocaine. They were smoking cavies. Y'all know it was hip and cool. And then the crack thing came. On the East Coast, they was calling it crack. We wasn't even calling it crack on the West Coast. We was calling it base rocks. But when that thing hit,
hey, we was calling it the hubba too. Remember the
hubba? Yeah, we was calling them hubba. And we just watched it swallow up a lot of brothers that we looked up to, hardcore brothers. The town. In them days, it was High Street Bank Boys, 6'9" Mob, 11-5, Sobrani Park, 8-5 Tilts, 9-0 Lovers. You remember, all that. We was graffitiing that on the AC Transit buses, and we were 7 Deuce YP M&M. So a lot of brothers got caught up in that, in that thing.
No doubt.
And then the police launched, I think if I'm not mistaken, that wasn't Bush. Who was the president? Was that the first Bush? That might have been the first Bush. That was Reagan. Sure was. Reagan was the first one. And it was between the era of Reagan and Bush that they launched the official war on drugs. And we'll touch on that. But back to RBG, that's when it was born right there. We was made straight up out of high. My mother was trying to keep me out of the gangs, trying to keep me out of the street. So in the 11th grade, you know how they do. They send the military recruitment people through your hood, and they knocking on the door, and they get, you really could get your son, and there's something productive. He could go to the military and learn a trade. Really, they put you on the front line, right? Just like they did in the Vietnam War. Just like, you know what I mean? But my mother, of course, just trying anything, she put me in Pharaoh's waters, like little baby Moses in the basket, put me in Pharaoh's waters, like trying to get him some help. And so we were moved to be enlisted in the military in a split option program after the 11th grade. To keep me that whole summer, I went to the military. Only reason I didn't totally buck and run away from home is because I wanted me a Mustang. Because in them days, y'all know it was the Falcon Boys, the Cougars, the Mustangs, and I was like, I can make, for the summer, I could be gone for 2 months, and I can make dang near a rack. I come back and give me a Stang. Okay, I'll do this, And when we came back, all the homies in the hood was smoked out. All the homies in the hood was smoked out.
All bad. They even made it cool. You remember they used to call it Ready Rock?
Yeah.
So they kind of like, the hood gave it a little, like a little fancy name to mask that you are now smoking, you know, a little bit of cocaine mixed with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You know what I mean? So that was that's a tough time period to weather. And if even if you saw somebody strung out today, it don't compare to what that was in that era when you see the mailman, the dude who used to go to work every day, the school teacher, all these people just whoop, they just changed, and now all their clothes is dirty, and you know what I mean, and they doing all kind of crime just to facilitate their drug habit. I watched it wipe out in my own family. I watched it go down the line. All my uncles and aunties, you know what I mean? And my aunt was even at one point, my aunt she moved over from San Francisco over there to Main Street over in Oakland, and she got killed. She got her, and yeah. It was like, this was in '86. It was the biggest murder in Oakland history at the time. On 106 in Permain. So and after that, kind of like, you know, and she used to live on 73rd and MacArthur too. I do remember that when I was a kid. I used to go over there. So
I used to
but
live
yeah,
there
man.
too, in that apartment
So
building. That's
man,
crazy.
okay,
I
so
like to say the
she
crack
was right around the corner from this like a corner store.
break, bro.
Now, what'd you say?
I said crack turned heroes into zeros, man. That's what
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm
I
talking
see.
about. Some of the
You're right.
finest women we went to school with, we all wanted to get with. Out, man, doing some of the most foul things for that crack, man. The whole neighborhood destroyed. Like when you used to know everybody in your neighborhood, you damn near didn't even have to lock your Joe on the block. Now you gotta lock everything up, not only from people outside, but from people inside. You know, people, family members coming out, stealing your TVs, running down the street. It was the worst thing I ever seen in my life, bro. I mean, for real, that crack thing. Who would have knew? Because you know, something as little as that affect a community in the way. I mean, I guess somebody knew, but man, that crack, bro. That was the start of a whole lot of change in Oakland and all over the nation, bro.
What kept us out? Sports and music. Or you was either doing both, or you deep in one or the other. That was a lifesaver, you know. Growing up in Oakland, Mac, West Oakland was the school of champions. We got history there, man. Frank Robinson, Paul Silas,
Bill Russell.
Come on, man. Come on. We had them all. Then Castlemont, East Oakland, had music. Pointer Sisters.
Mr. Reader.
Pointer Sisters
that was Mac.
Pointer went to Mac.
They went to Mac?
Yeah, they went to Mac. Pointer Sisters went to Mac.
Castlemont.
But Castlemont had
Tony. Mr. Reader.
Castleton. Tony, Dwayne, all them, they went to Castlemont. Joe Capers.
Yeah.
My ex-wife, my kids, my two oldest kids' mother, she was in the Castleton.
Where was In Vogue from?
They younger, and only Don, I think, is really from here. I think the other ones came from another place, but they assembled here. But I think only Don is from Oakland.
Yeah, Foster and Elroy went to Castlemont, and they produced them.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that was the tie. And
you know, that time, y'all know, when they did that war on drugs, they invented task force. That's the first time we started hearing task force.
Battle Ram.
And one of the first songs we did, because we was MC Train the ESO party, we right down the street from the Uhuru House, African People's Socialist Party. It was right on Foothill and 79th, I think. That's right down the street from the hood. We on 72nd. Our whole little turf was 72nd and 75th. The black and white liquor store, that was our turf from 72nd all the way to 75th. Black and white, we used to stand in front of black and white, serve the little paper shots, you know, because it really wasn't even no crack sales yet. It was weed, and we didn't even have the Ziploc baggies. We had paper shots. we folded up the paper like an envelope, you know, and we had paper shots. And everybody used to come to Black and White liquor store to get they herbal prescriptions, you know, you know, and but Sherm, I think the worst thing I seen, it was one homie in the hood that would be always on Sherm. All that stuff was kind of big in LA. Sherm and some other stuff was more big in LA, but it was people up in the town doing the lowriders. That was bigger in LA. You know what I'm saying? It kind of hit up here a little bit, but up here it was muscle cars, first it was just Falcons, Mustangs, and Cougars dipping. They didn't used to put the muscle car thing on there. They get the stars and bows. You know what I'm saying? Star wires and bows, trues and bows, or star wires and bows with the candy paint. All the brothers from Sunnyside, that was the Falcon boys, you know, and Ted Bohannon. I think you knew them when we was young. We knew them by the color. That red and white one, that's so-and-so. That green and white one, that's so-and-so. You know, the gold and white, that's so-and-so. And we young, you know, them was the superheroes of the hood, you know.
Hey, Trace, but in the 20s, it was the Cadillacs.
It was a Cadillac, y'all. Cadillac crew was
the
still
27, all
27,
y'all. That was all Cadillacs on that side. That was an OG Cadillac.
Yeah. And the whole
all right, so
suicide doors, the whole
yeah.
Hey guys, let me if I may, I want to slip in a question over to Ricardo.
Yeah.
Ricardo, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. So these times that these two gentlemen are talking about, what were you doing this time period? Were you getting like ready to do your thing with music, or were you already showing an interest in it, or what was
in the rap world?
Story?
In the rap world, I was affiliated with Hassani Miller. He called himself. We had a video called "Don't Listen." It had the MC Hammers, the twins in it. It had
Too Big
Short
MCs
was in there. Too Big MCs, yeah. They had Too Short in the video and Banks in the video, and a couple of other people was kind of doing cameos. And then we was at One Little Indian recording. That's where Too Short did a lot of his stuff up in the Emeryville Hills, I think it was. Al Eaton, yeah, One Little Indian. And Too Short wanted me to play for him. But I was so big on consciousness and stuff. So Yasani got me into consciousness. I mean, I was already in it with my mother. We were more on the, Democratic, raising people to vote and all this, and marching for jobs and watches. And I was the NAAC president. So I was on that path. But then when Yasani, his mother and father was into the Panthers, they brought me into that Black consciousness thing. And I was deep into it. I was reading these books. I'm like, brother, what are you doing? This brother ended up going over and signing with Short people. What little girls? How many? What is it
75
called?
75 girls.
75 girls. And he changed himself to Goldie, and he went to the pimp thing and the whole player and popping. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, brother? So I was like, I was a goody two-shoe. I started playing for the church and stuff, even ended up playing for Walter Hawkins, Love Center later on. And but I was playing right across this by Castlemont, Ernestine Cleveland Rings Church, so I went that path. But I was still producing multiple people in the town. But then I started bouncing back and forth to LA to the Bay. And working I worked with Dwayne Wiggins for a while as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's an amazing discovery to know. Because Dwayne is so talented. You know what I mean? And it's painful to even know that such a force can be gone like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question: how did your path cross Heston Cleveland?
That's what I was talking about earlier. It should have crossed early. I lived at 73rd and MacArthur, right around what the brother's talking about. I was all in the same studios. I was doing all the things. The only path across was Nauru. Heston, the Earl Garr, who was the financier and the president of Righteous Records. All these years later, I moved to Vegas to be closer to my two daughters, my oldest and my youngest. I have three. One is still in the Bay. And he introduced me to Earl. And so it just came around full circle, and so all, 30 years later, Heston introduces me to Earl, and he never met me in person. he kind of presented it to Earl like, man, this brother's a good brother. I've known him all my life. But really, he was with my other partner, KE, of Black Nova, who I'm in the group with as well. And so, yeah. So then it came back, the family got together. I lost touch with Naru hella years, but we had connected through KE and stuff too. We was at the concert. So yeah, it's funny how it all worked out.
I'm the one that introduced Hess.
Hey,
Yeah, so I was gonna get to Naru now. I was gonna ask Naru the same question, but I was gonna ask him about Scrap Muhammad. How did you two connect?
Well, see, I knew him back when he was, doing MC Trace. Him and my girl Kimmy Fresh was hella tight, and he was in this group called ESO, and he had one of my favorite songs called "Your Auntie's a Basshead." Man, I used to love that song. I'm like, I gotta meet this cat. And he was hella cool when I met him, and then like his producer Gino Blacknell, who's rest in peace.
Yeah.
I knew Gino because my grandmother lived on 44th in the north, and Gino was always over there. And that's the trip part. All this came together because Gino had the studio in Vegas with Earl he was talking about. Yeah. Gino passed away. They was building this state-of-the-art facility, but Gino really never got to see it come to fruition. And when Ricardo had moved to Vegas, I was talking to Hess, and Hess was telling me about the studio, and I was like, well, man, you need to hook Ricardo up with him because Ricardo can do all of that stuff. Gino did not the same as Gino, but Ricardo's got a high level skill set, and so that's how it all came back together. And then I got reconnected with Answer Scribe through my man Josie Wells. He had went because Answer Scribe used to have a mosque, and he was looking for him, and he found him, and he told me, and then we connected, and then he said he wanted to do this new thing called BUCU, Black Unity Conference Universal, bring people together, and man, it was just like the Most High put us all back together.
Put us all back together.
We all wanted something bigger than the stuff we were doing individually, and when we got together and came together, it was like we had been doing it all our life, like all the time. Together.
Let me ask you guys a question about Heston. Has he always been like so like he is? You know what I mean? It's like ready set go mode with him. Like, you know what I mean? It's like has that been Heston's thing the whole time, or is he like a different version of Heston now than you knew from before?
He a little different, but he always had a lot of energy though.
Yeah.
And Hess, we used to call Hess the fight doctor. Hess is a boxing connoisseur.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything going on with boxing, I'm calling Hess. Hess, who is this new cat coming up? Hess knew all the boxers. If it was a fight going on, he probably had a bootleg. He'd come up to the house and watch the fight. We used to have them little things you twist on the back. Hess to have a fight. And Hess is good friends with my cousin Keenan Foster. I met Hess from my cousin Keenan. He's a producer for short, the Maestro. That's how I met Hess and DJing. And no, but Hess always been good people, bro. Hess always been heckin' cool, man. Like the type of brother you like. Yeah, I can kick it with Hess. Hess ain't gonna get us in no trouble. We might have a couple drinks. We might have a little smoke, but we gonna be cool. Everything good, Hess keep the mood light. You understand what I'm saying? He ain't trying to preach to nobody. He ain't trying to tell nobody what to do. But when Hess found out his mom had this music,
got that Kerry Cleveland.
It turned Hess into a whole nother, a super promoter. I never seen a transformation like that. Like, man, he turned into something totally different for his mom, though, for the best reason ever, for the love of his mom and his father who did the music, man. It's like he always say, man, it's a year, 45 years in the making. It's a
man. So Heston,
wait, one more thing real quick. The way
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Back with Hess, I saw Hess and his mom on TV. I'm like, man, that's the fight. I called my cousin Keenan. I said, Keenan, Hess on TV with his mom. I didn't know his mom did music, and I connected with Hess, and that's how we got connected
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna get to Heston real quick. Are you there, Heston?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So you're getting some flowers thrown at your feet right now, man. How does it feel, man?
Man,
these guys all saying these things about you. You know what I mean?
It feels great. You know, I feel the same about all of them. Like Naru reached out to me after the television interview, and we was chopping it up. And he did a Juneteenth, and he talked to my mom and I. So we went out. We met K.E. of Black Dorm. That's one half of Ricardo. And K.E. and I hooked up, start conversating, and he wanted to do something with my mom. And he had this nice studio in the house. He didn't even know how to turn the button on. He on the phone with Ricardo. You know, Ricardo had moved to Vegas. And what impressed me, Ricardo didn't see it. He on the phone with K.E. and he telling him what to do. And I'm like, he ain't even looking at it. So, you know, that really impressed me. And I went to a wedding in Vegas. My cousin got married, and I knew Earl stayed out there. I tried to hook up with him, but his best friend / cousin was at the wedding. And I talked to him, and I say, look, man, I'm sorry about Gino dying, man. But I say, you know what? I got Gino's cousin. He just moved out here. He's looking for work. He's a hell of an engineer. You know, I had talked to Ricardo a couple of times on the phone, and he's a no-nonsense brother. So, you know, I vouched for him, man. I stood up tall and, Earl, no, you need to meet this dude, you know, so they met. And in return, Ricardo redid 4, 5 of my mom's songs. They see me doing the submissions for my mom's music. And I had tried before to get a radio show, but I was dependent on somebody I didn't know. But out of the kindness of their heart, they did it, you know, Rhythm Rave Radio. So he had to go back.
I'm sorry, we're gonna dive deeper into the radio show in a little bit, but I'm sorry, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so Ricardo, you know, he was like, man, I'll do it. Let's, you know, just keep doing. So, you know, that's how we got that. But for me getting back with Answer Scribe, aka MC Tracy, I met him at a studio. The king of the hookup, Jerry Hodges, aka Gazinga, the king of the hookup. He called me. He said, man, look, man, come on to the studio, bring all your stuff. I brought my equipment, and you know, we did the smoke session before. And he said, man, go on and hook up. So I hooked up, and I was in rare form, man. I was transforming, doing everything.
So what I'm gonna do, I want you to hold that for 1 second, because I want to get Answer Scribe's viewpoint on this first. What you're saying? Do you remember this data the same way he remembers it?
You know, I do. I remember, you know, like he said, Jerry Hodges. Jerry Hodges is 75 Girls producer Dean Hodges' little brother. And so we all would hang out at Kimmy Fresh house. This was the rap cipher home. Kimmy Fresh, her mother owned real estate, so she owned a bunch of houses, and she basically gave Kimmy the house right on 75th, right in our hood. So we would all gather over there. Dangerous Dame, Spice One, Pooh Man, Josie Wells, which was, I think his group was Maximum Security at that. Everybody would be there, you know what I mean, rapping. And Jerry Hodges, one of the songs he fell in love with was Cowards to Authority. And I was talking about the police because I seen Task Force beating down brothers. Jerry Hodges would go around trying to get me hooked up with anybody. He thought I was the dopest rapper, you know what I'm saying, alive. So he was like, man, I got to get you hooked up because his brother, Dean, was going through some stuff. Dean was going through some difficulties with the extracurricular and different things like that. The label was experiencing some difficulties. He had Cassadine on the label. Short was his big discovery. And Kimmy Freshnam was coming on to be like the Salt and Pepper. They was going to come on, battle Short, you know, just like Salt and Pepper and then battle LL Cool J. And that was going to build the label up. Jerry is the one that got me hooked up eventually with Hess. I think Gino was the one that eventually got me hooked up with Earl. But all of that came together in a blur to me. I just seen Earl, Hess, the label, the studio. It happened like a whirlwind. Because when Hess came on, Earl bought a whole studio. He bought a whole new studio. So everything like blossomed. I was looking for producers. I was bouncing around. I was with the Hardy Boys. I was on tour with MC Ant Banks and Morocco Mo with a producer named Travis. He ended up getting killed. Big Bruce got killed over there with Pooh Man's then producer. He ended up getting killed. All these producers was getting killed, going to jail. But Earl was the one that was more laid back, handling his business type of dude, you know. And from there, it was just like a blur. Like, here go Earl, here go Hess. It was like all the dreams coming through. All the DJs that we had, you know, DJs and beat makers. Gino was a beat maker that he didn't never trip, you know. A lot of the beat makers that get into themselves and they, you know, you record your verse and then they say, okay, you got to come back and get it later. Like they wouldn't even cut you a cassette to walk with or ride with when you leave the studio, you know. But Gino, he wasn't never tripping. That's to me the way Hess was. Hess was laid back, man, whatever's whatever y'all want to do, I got it. And then he backed it up. He backed it up immediately because as soon as he met Earl, it was Hess to hook Earl up with the studio. And,
all right.
And then
so
Hess to want to hook up. Yeah.
This is going, now I'm starting to connect all the dots. So this is coming full circle here. So who knew Naru first?
Me.
Hey, I don't
Wait,
know.
who said me? I'm sorry. Which one? Of
every MC in the town had to heard it quick. Every MC in the town had to heard it quick at one time or another. I was a connoisseur of all the MCs in the town at that time. Everybody was a baby. Short, Too Short, and Freddie B came out. Who else? Before that, y'all remember Dangerous Dame?
Yeah, I used to work with him.
Yeah.
I gotta tell him my name used to be Sir Quick Draw and MC Quick before I changed it to Naru. So
okay. So this is all starting to really starting to make sense now. So when he said everybody knew Sir Quick, I was like, okay, let me see. So we got a couple of different name changes here.
If you didn't know him, you heard about him. You heard about their notoriety. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So let me ask you a question, Naru.
Yes, sir.
How much of Sir Quick is in your DNA today?
Oh, it ain't a whole lot.
Good thing.
It ain't a whole lot. But so Sir Quick Draw was kind of like, you know, my little name I use. I got, y'all don't know if y'all remember this TV show called El Kabong. Remember that? I got it from that. Quick Draw. I used to love that name. That was my little cartoon. And
Quick Draw McGraw.
Yeah,
Quick Draw. I remember that.
I got the name Quick because I was really fast. And one time I was living in East Oakland on 26th Ave, and I had just moved over there, and they, you know, they testing you. I bet you won't break that bottle. I bet you, you know, in front of dude's house. So, you know me, I'm like, man, I'll do anything back in there. I broke the bottle, and the dude came out the house, and I just took off. And then I went in the house and changed clothes and came back out. They was like, damn, that was a hella quick. And they just started calling me Quick after that. But all kind of fit. Quick was my name. Like, they go Quick. They used to call me Quick all the time. And
Gotcha.
And when I
I'm
started
sorry.
rapping, I just kept the name, but then I just added the Sir, because back then everybody was Sir.
Yeah, everybody was Sir. Sir this,
Too Short with Sir Too Short. It was like we was all Sir with the dollar sign. So I was Sir Quick. Yeah, that's what it was back then.
Yeah, makes sense.
Folks knew me because I used to walk around with a big old beatbox, and I had a keyboard on mine. It was the most unique radio anybody. So every time I went somewhere, everybody knew, oh, that's quick with the keyboard, you know. I don't know where I bought a Panasonic. I had a job. I wasn't on the street hustling. I was a school teacher. I always had a job, always had money. So I would always be cool and fresh. You know, I'm like, I learned real quick, man. I'm not trying to be out here grinding and doing none of that stuff, man. That ain't for me, man. Because I went to juvenile one time. I'm like, whoa, this ain't for me.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Man,
I had
I'm trying to be up in this ever again. Let me go get a job. I'm cool. Y'all can do all that.
Exactly. You know, interestingly enough, I heard something earlier about someone said when he found out about his mom's records. You didn't know about them before, or it was like something that she had did earlier in life, and as you were growing up, you kind of found out about it, or how'd that go?
You know, I took it for granted. Growing up my mom and dad had the common love of music. They played all over the Bay Area, and it's all starting to do like a duh moment. They had a job 2 and 3 times every weekend, here, there. I mean, this is all before the internet. You know, this all just start popping in my head. So, I grew up in the house. I used to have to go outside to use the bathroom sometimes. They would be doing a recording. Come to now, to the reissue. My father died. My mom got tired of being discriminated in the music industry of Black female band leader. Got tired, So come to today, I ended up moving in with her to help her with my stepfather. We in a senior community, and I knew about the records and stuff. Really wasn't messing with it at the time. One day they had on Google a Beanie Baby, how much it was. It was like $2,500. I ran and showed my mom, and she got gangs of them. Wow. We looking through them all day. And so at the end of the day, I laughed. I say, how much is a Carrie Cleveland original copy? $450. I went on and started looking at eBay, and this one sold for $300. This one sold, and I'm like, Mom, that's your record. And we had a box right behind the door. My stepfather passed, and I'm like, we need some money, Mom. I put some in some record stores on consignment. A record label called up, and I'm talking to your cousin, Naru, aka Marcus Dyer, aka Big Daddy. I say, Big Daddy, man, they want to offer blah, 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 blah. He say, you tripping. You ain't doing nothing with them. And I'm like, duh. Come to the initial push. It blew up, man. We sold out everything. And I'm like, man. So then the second payment came, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Excuse me. But that's how I was. So I didn't know how to do anything online, man. I got mad. I'm like, because people was calling me, telling me, man, I just heard your mom's music. So I got mad, man. And I just put my face in line. This is my mom, y'all. Yeah. Listen to her voice. Angelic voice, man. So I just kept pushing, and I learned how to submit. I'm submitting to, I got 50 radio stations in my head right now I could just go and submit to. No pay, nothing. So we start getting write-ups, and I'm a friendly guy. So if you meet me and you give me 5 minutes, we friends. Channel
Let
2.
me ask you this. Something I wanted to ask you about newer Carrie Cleveland music. produced by Ricardo Love?
Yep, some of it.
The Black Nova is the group. Is that you guys also Black Nova also a production squad or just a group of
It's both really. It started with
Okay.
KE. You know, he was an artist, and I just wanted to produce him. And then he was like, "Man, you're gonna be in the group." And so he kept on saying he's gonna be in the group. He's gonna be in the group. So I was in the group. He's like, "You other half of Black Nova." Because it was really just his material. And so, but I was doing most of the music and stuff until I taught him how to, you know, use Cubase and all his production tools and stuff, you know. And so and then I taught him how to do video editing and graphics and stuff. And now I think he's better than me because he cares more about the time and putting it. I'm ready, boom, 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 boom. You know, I'm wanting to get it out. So I'm kind of like Hess on that matter. But he just so meticulous with it and everything. So, you know,
there's a whole lot of talent right here. I can see it, and it's apparent that there's a couple of groups within inside of the groups. Yeah. I heard about BUCU. Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody want to share with the people I know we touched on a little earlier, but just the founding of that and how that came together and how that all meshes with the RBG movement and so on.
Yeah, you know, that's what was coming to mind as we were, you know, we're just giving everybody their flowers, and then you hit it right on the nose. You know, the talent in this group, and everyone has kind of talked about how God put it together. BUCU is a term from beaucoup. That term is a French term. I think it meant more soup at that time. You know, it was a code word, you know, for the coup d'etat, you know, that would take place. But that code word that was used from ancient or early French revolutionary times up until today still meant more, a lot. Beaucoup, I want a lot, right? Beaucoup. And but with us, the initials were really the axiom for the meaning. Black Unity Conference Universal. Black Unity Conference Universal says it. We want Black unity. We wanted to unite all the Black organizations because what we seen, same thing that we seen at the root of RBG, which connects it, everybody was divided, everybody bickering against each other, even all these Black organizations bickering against one another. Everybody, you know, claim they got the right way. Still, then we falling right back in the crabs in a barrel, right? And so we seen a formula would be to unite the unifiers, unify the unifiers, get a Black Unity Conference Universal, a bunch of independent Black organizations, independent Black artists, independent Black organizations and businesses to unite under one banner, you know, under one banner. And where they keep the autonomy of their independentness, but yet lock arms universally. That concept, although maybe attempted before, is connected to RBG as a language, because RBG as a language permeates the gangster field up into the revolutionary or reborn field, up into the God field, you know, and understanding that we're not going to accomplish nothing without God at the center. But again, all the religions is bickering. All the religions bickering, all of the civil rights organizations bickering, all of the revolutionary organizations bickering. So the key is to get a formula from God that can unite the religions, unite the Black organizations, and that we understood would be BUCU. That's where you would see the abundance or more of our gifts shine forth when we put them together and stop bickering with one another. Satan's one of Satan's greatest tools to overcome the people is divide and conquer. And so we said, dang, it's pretty simple, but it's the hardest thing to do. You know, but
Absolutely.
we got a formula, and you can see it right here. You can see the formula. Muslims,
I do see the formula.
You know, yes, sir.
I want to ask Naru. This formula that's being mixed up and made to put out, what form of expression do you use most? Is it music? Is it speaking to now I know Mr. Muhammad. You got a mouthpiece, so you know what I mean?
I say mine. I say the Sunday punch.
Yeah, I mean, you talk. But I want to know. So how do you put these words to action? Through your music, or are you hitting the streets? I mean, what is going on these days? How I just want to, I'm trying to understand that. I know the RBG,
right.
and I know BUCU, but what are you doing now? How's that?
So,
if I may ask.
I've been in nonprofit business for 20 years, so I'm a consultant for many different organizations. Eastside Arts Alliance, one of my clients, they founded a Black Culture Zone here in Oakland, California. I'm a consultant for Bay Area Hip Hop Forever, which puts on the annual Tupac Day event. I also have my own nonprofit called Alternative Mind Foundation. So I got into grant writing really early on. So that's kind of what I do. I go out and find funds and people to connect with to get facilities and things of that nature. So that's kind of like what I do in the community as well. So I'm a promoter. Also, I've been a promoter for about 30 years. So I promote, all positive events from hip hop, spoken word, theater. Those are the type of things that I do. So I have a reputation for every event I throw. There's never any problem. We never had any funk. We never had any fighting. We never had any shooting. We never had any negative vibes. So people know if Naru say this is going to be a cool event, it's going to be a cool event to go to. And that's, I stand on my ancestors' shoulders. It's all, they always looking out for me, man. They protecting me. I got all my ancestors stuff around my house. They protecting me every step I go, and I'm always trying to listen to my ancestors. But BUCU, man, we put on 3 beautiful events, man. One at the Triple ACC in San Francisco. I know you know that space, and then Eastside Arts Alliance. We did our event there, and this year we're going to be doing it at a Boss over in East Oakland, right across from the Eastmont Mall. We're actually in the Eastmont Mall, which is full circle back to where we used to hang out when we were youth. So I'm more of a community activist. I put groups and people together. I have what you call the people bank. That's what my boy Quentin, he calls it the people. He said I use that terminology because it fits. I just know a lot of people. If I don't know how to do it, I know somebody that knows how to do it. If I don't know where to get it, I know somebody that knows where to get it from. And it's a way of trying to keep everything in-house in Oakland, in our community, instead of having to always go out and look for something somewhere else. Oh, I know somebody that got a speaker system. I know somebody that got a stage, bro. I know somebody that got all that stuff. So we don't never have to go rent it, or I know somebody that got all of this stuff. So that's kind of how it is. And so I started a company called Hip Learning 20 years ago. I teach science and I mix science with hip hop. And that's how I learned about grants. I got my first grant 20 years ago. And so I got $35,000. Now, 20 years ago, $35,000 was a lot of money, right?
Yeah, you're rich.
So that's how I was able to buy all my equipment and computers and everything like that, all the costumes for my shows. And we were still doing CDs back then. So, burning, CDs, giving them away in the community. So, that's kind of how, I changed my name to Naru about 30 years ago when I was 30. I just wanted a new name. I was trying to get on a more spiritual path, not doing some of the knucklehead things I was doing growing up. I wasn't gonna get into all of that, but you probably understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, and once that happened, the ancestors blessed me over and over and over. Have a wife and a daughter and in a strong
Excellent.
community, man. And
Excellent.
BUCU is the first group I've been in. We've been together for about 3 years, where every time we meet, it's love. It's never like nobody's tripping off a hierarchy. We're all in this together. We all cherish each other's strength. We try to pull people up if they have a weakness and educate in that. And you just don't see this, bro. I mean, I done been in a lot of organizations. You just don't see this often. It's always like some hate or something in some other organization. I have never experienced that in this at all.
So, does Naru listen to the Indie Hookup or Love Vibes?
I listen when I can. I'm a very busy person. I'm like, I sleep about 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I don't even have time. Like people always when I do interviews and stuff, people always ask me if I listen to them. I'm be like, no, I was there when the interview happened. I'm on to doing something else. That's for somebody else to listen to. So I don't really even listen to my music on the radio or nothing like that. Like I just be keeping
I
it
got
moving.
you. I got you. Yeah, I heard Dr. Dre say he never listens to his songs after he puts them. I don't believe that part from him, but I mean, it's a possibility. So, gentlemen, I want to tap on the creation of something that I'm very much associated with now because I am a program director of a radio show station. And one of the shows that I was happy to bring to one of the stations is called the Indy Hookup. The Indy Hookup show for me is just a relaxing moment in time where I can sit down and chill, and it's not overly comical. I mean, I can hear the happiness and the like the vibe is real smooth, and sitting here with both of the guys from the Indie Hookup and also Love Vibes. Tell me, guys, how did the radio thing come about? What we'll start. We'll start with the gentleman, Ricardo Love here. How did it start? What was your passion to even get started in radio?
Well, I'll go back real quickly on back in high school. They had a program for high school seniors at Western Michigan University. That if you come in with this program, then you'll get your FCC license. And I was going to get my FCC license, but a winter storm happened, and my mom wouldn't let me go. And we had a storm high as your up to your chest, and she wouldn't let me go. And the program director was being an a-hole, and he didn't understand. And so I didn't graduate from that program. So that was my dream way back then. And I just got into music more, so playing and creating. And then all these years later, I made Heston Cleveland, and he wanted me to help him do his show called Heston Hits. And I had to, being a music engineer, and I could make the theme song, I could, do the radio effects and everything. So I helped him with a couple of shows of him. And then, like he told us something happened with that. And then so later I said, man, why don't we do this? We trying to get on other people's radio show. Why don't we make our own radio show? We could get it at least on YouTube. And we knew our dear sister Sabrina just chat with Bree, and she was talking about hooking us up. So we had guest hosted. He had more so me over the time. So it just was a natural progression, and he could let you know what else happened. He just got that gift of gab that he could talk. Next thing I know, man, we got another radio station. Man, we got another. It's like, and I'm so laid back. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I should be like, yeah, but I just that ain't my personality.
No, I got you. So Heston, for you, we had the beginning and the start of Heston Hits, and it transitioned to what we have now, Indie Hookup.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I submitted my mom's music to radio stations all over the world. And from me being a doorman, 16 years in San Francisco, Union Square, Highland, Sutter, I learned the gift of gab, because if you didn't talk, you didn't make no money.
Yeah.
I made a lot of money. I believe in what I'm doing because I my mom's numbers. So in the course of me putting my boots on the ground for say on the internet, I met a lot of artists, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's good. You know what? Give it to me. I got a few radio stations. So, I'm doing that for a whole bunch of people. And it started kind of declining. I'm like, man, they not replying. So Ricardo said, well, Sabrina want us to do a show. I'm like, man, I'm down. So he came in with the intro. I'm in the Bay, he out in Vegas. I'll start it up. I talk slow, so it's gaps when I speak, and Ricardo jump in. Like you say, and sometimes he be sticking me, and I ain't no way for me to fly.
Yeah, because he the last one recording, huh? So he can say something, ain't no reply,
huh? And when I first heard the show, I thought they were doing it in the room together. I had no idea that they were doing it separate. It comes off so tight.
Hey, I just found out too. This is the first time I knew of it too. So it's cohesive as heck, man. It is very cohesive. It's a great show. I like listening to it, and I want to really stop for one split second and just reflect on this union that you guys all formed and have together, and just exactly how long it goes back, and for you guys to be today still doing it. Even at a greater level, you know what I mean? And for that, I would like to just give y'all a round of applause, because everybody I've heard here and spoke to today has a story, and all of you guys have blossomed. It hasn't ended. Yeah. It's growing still, and you're still changing lives out there, which is most important. Yeah. You know what I mean? We changing lives, we saving lives, we may not even realize it. Yeah. But it's happening. If somebody's paying attention to you guys, that means they ain't out doing something stupid. Come you know on. What I mean? Which we like, man. So we're coming up on the hour mark. I would want anybody, any one of you or all of you, if you want to give some information about how people can hear more about you or know more about you, now's the time.
Well, for the Indy Hookup, you definitely want to reach out. We are unique. It is a whole lot of radio stations, and no salt on any of them, because they got overhead, they gotta pay different people to do whatever they do. But the Indie Hookup is one of the few platforms that if you're an independent artist and you want your music heard on the radio, we want quality music. We don't want just any music. You can send it to Heston Cleveland 5 at Gmail, or the Indie Hookup at Gmail, INDY, and we will play your music on all those stations, all those times, and it gets repeated. And I don't know any other product. When we were trying to get on the radio, we would love to have heard. Now we offering it to people, damn near begging people to come on. And for some reason, y'all artists out there are sleeping. You better send your music in to Heston Cleveland or myself, and so we can get it on. Also, now we have Love Vibes, which is also playing independent music, but I play mainstream music as well. So you get to be heard beside mainstream music. And so I'm looking for that smooth love song. If you got that, send that in as well.
All right.
Listen to Big Sexy. Yeah, I'm looking for that love.
Hey, man, I would just say look out for BUCU, Black Unity Conference Universal, man. Go check out the website. We're on Instagram. We're doing really beautiful stuff in the community, and we're just continuing to grow. Just got our nonprofit status this year. Very proud of that, and that's what keeps us all together. Me personally, Naru Kuna, I still record as an independent artist. I still record under my other company, Hip Learning, where I do music for our youth. And so I've been doing that for 20 years. So, Naru Kuna or hiplearning.org. And then my nonprofit is alternativemindsfoundation.org. We help a lot of artists with grants and contracts, and we offer a fiscal sponsorship for people who don't have a nonprofit, but they're seeking to find out about grant writing and get funding for different programs. And so we out here, y'all. I'm part of the Black Cultural Zone here in Oakland. We just bought the Eastmont Mall spot over there, building a community center, affordable housing. Bought a whole lot of different venues and locations, and from office space to senior center. We're about to start an Africa Town out in East Oakland, all on the East 14. Y'all call it International. We call it East 14 still.
14.
Yeah, right over there in the 80th and 90th corridor. So don't sell your property, Black people. Keep your property. We about to have a whole new renaissance of our people right here in East Oakland. So let's keep building.
Yeah, that's the same. I would say BUCU, the Black Unity Conference Universal. You're gonna see everybody connected. We're gonna try to connect with everybody that's out there doing it. Every other Black organization that's unifying, we're trying to unify the unifiers. And I see everybody with this internet and the new worldwide market, everybody's able to establish their own independence. And we up against a challenge because the industry and the industry standards are trying to wage war against our independence. So we pushing this BUCU thing and really uniting with all the hard hitters out there. We see, all of the fam from what LaRussell is doing, from all of the OG rappers, they careers are reborn, along with the young ones are learning that I don't need to sign up with no labels no more. Sign up and unify, and stay unified and independent. Don't sell out. Once we get something and it's working, don't sell it out. You know what I mean? The BUCU event that we got coming up in September, keep an eye out for it, because we coming to link up with every organization out there, and we honored to be on your program, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. You guys have all been amazing. Hess, any closing words?
Yeah. Man, it's a pleasure, family.
It's all mine, actually, but thank you.
You got two of the most talkative guys on here. Cry. We don't know when to be quiet. Yeah. But these are my brothers, man. Over 35 years of friendship. Of course, much less with Ricardo, but we've been in business together, teaming up. Yeah. And 91 episodes. Yeah. 91
Man,
episodes.
that is amazing.
Supporting all the radio stations all over the world. That's what we do, and we support you guys. Bless you with the good music. We do promotion for you for playing our music. It's cooperative marketing, family. Just like this interview. Yeah. I know you're a busy man. I tease you about not sleeping, and then you talk about all day, all night.
Well, my question is, how come whenever I'm there, you there? So that's you can't talk about me not sleeping if I see you there all the time.
I want to thank you for that, and of course,
I appreciate it.
Hey, I just say this, and I'm gonna shit up. BUCU event, man. It was in February. It was one of the worst raining days in the last 2 years. The rain was coming down sideways. My mom and I drove, and we was hydroplaning, and I'm like, Mom, we on the poster. You gotta go. So we finally got there, man, and we was getting out the car. We said, well, we gonna be with family, because ain't nobody coming. Standing room only.
Man.
We gave away EpiPens, bags of food, guest doctor speaking, and we gave them a musical performance. And we had vendors there. Standing room only, family. You walked in, water was dripping off of you. That's how bad it was raining. And it was a packed house, man. It was beautiful. I'm so honored to be with these brothers right here, man. You keep watching, fam. Y'all keep watching. BUCU.
BUCU.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to be the fifth member. Hey, guys, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
It was a pleasure. Sir. It's a pleasure and an honor to speak with all of you guys. And I'm very, very, very happy to have made all of your acquaintance. And this should not be the last time we speak or even see each other. I mean, you know what I mean? This is a special moment. And history will record this epic moment as great. Yeah. So for me, Aunt Taylor, I'm wrapping up. I'm signing off. Thanks to you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. And this has been a wonderful time, and many blessings to you all.
Wait, and before we go, one more thing
Yes, sir.
We have strong women in BUCU too. They're not here today, but they hold us down. So I don't want y'all to think that BUCU is only a bunch of hard-head, knucklehead dudes. We have strong, beautiful women in the community that are holding us down. So I want to give a shout out to all the women of BUCU who do, if not the same amount of work as us, more. So let's give them their props and they fly.
And we invite you to
man.
come too, brother. We invite you. You'll
Thank you.
Come on in, bro.
I'm sure Heston's not gonna let me forget to. He ain't gonna let that opportunity pass by. And props to the women, because behind every strong organization, our man or whatever it is, a woman. So we love that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Heston.
I just got to say three words, man. To our strongest female leader, happy birthday, Ansarell.
Happy birthday, Ansarell.
Happy birthday. And there it is.
Hey, we got Miss Carrie Cleveland, the mother of the movement. Oh, that's RBG. Hey, Aunt, we got to get a part 2 to go into how this thing just blossoms with the dimensional construct of the women. And that's an episode in and of itself. But that ideology, that theology, this universal theology, we learned all of that. And it goes into part 2 of the RBG. We became Ansarell Muhammad. And we'll talk a little bit more about that.
I like that. Let's get that that on schedule and do it.
That first RBG album is called RBG.
Man. Yeah. And you talk too, man. You got to tell about yourself, family. Yeah. Getting to know you, and you's a big dude.
Let me so what I'm gonna do, gentlemen, we're gonna take a quick pause. I'm gonna save this, because what I don't want this to do on my end is, you know what I mean? So let me save this, and then we continue talking.
Okay.
The Indy Hookup.